And hello everybody, this is, believe it or not, Virtual Farmer Ken Bob, and it has been a long time since I've done a video, and those who might remember me or have known about me or know me personally may realize this is not a farming video. We're going to switch gears here for just a bit because just found this game probably a couple weeks ago. I've played on it for a little while, and so I've got a little bit of work messing around playing. I am in no way a pro at it yet. That's a couple, well, it's a long ways down the road. But anyhow, I basically am doing this because I wanted to let my kids see, since they're currently not able to see what I'm playing on a day-to-day basis. I thought I'd do this so that they would be able to see what Daddy does whenever I'm not farming. Of course, you know, my day's not all gaming, but whenever I play, this is what I play. So anyhow, I'm going to go down here. I kind of took a look around on the jobs, but I did not look around at the train yard here, so I'm not real certain on where everything is particularly. I do know where it is based on what the game normally starts off as, and there it is right there, the DE2 that I need. So let's go over here, and before we get started and mess with that engine, let's get this round table turned. And there's a way to do this if I stand here. It's going the wrong way. There we go. Now you can turn it manually, and generally I do. There's a rod there on the end, and that's how you turn it. I'll finish it the rest of the way here by doing that, as a matter of fact. But boom, it stops you. It's like running into a solid brick wall, and it is not easy to push. I've got this thing in fast mode, and I fall in the pit all the time. So if I fall in the pit, that's nothing unusual. We're almost there. We should hear the click whenever it makes it. There it is. So now let's go back over here, and it's gonna come up with do you want to watch this tutorial? And I do not. If anybody's interested in all the tutorials and stuff that there is and wants to see me do it, I'll be more than happy to, but for now I just am basically doing this to kind of show the game to my kids, if nothing else. Don't even know if they'll actually watch it, but if they do, then that'll be awesome. Alright, now you can control everything with your mouse, and typically that is what I do. But I've been learning to use my controller. Now if I can just be sure and do it all correctly, we'll just have to see. Oops, I forgot. We gotta turn off the wheel brake. Well, I say turn off, but I guess that's what you would call it. Release it. Now, one thing I will warn you about, this game is very squealy. Every time you put on those brakes, you're going to get that squeal. And of course, if you've got a full train on, you're going to get it even more, because every single car makes that squeal. Alright, so let's see now. I want to turn it now. Let's turn it this way so we're facing forward. I think that's the way no, wait a minute. I don't want to face forward, do I? I didn't look and see where this job is heading. Maybe I better do that before I turn this engine around. Now I'm getting ready to... You can flash, I think is what they call it. Where you jump, move ahead in your run. Like I said, I am not a pro. I don't even know where I'm at here. I'm not finding. Oh, here we are. I got lost there for a second. I am not a pro at this. Just kind of messing around with it. There's a lot of stuff. Okay, we're going to Harbor in Town. I know where that is. I've got enough experience to remember that. Now, I did not accept the job yet. I do have mods installed that allow you to do things outside of the regular gameplay. I am not fast enough with anything I do. Whoops, wrong house. To be able to do this the way the game is designed. So I've got a thing where I can look at where cars are and all that before I accept the job. So that gives me time to set stuff up without being timed. Basically in free mode at that point. Don't know if I can't see that track well enough. Okay, so we need to go a little bit more. Okay, I have the volume really low because I can't stand hearing myself. I do like to monitor what I'm doing and hear the game, but my mic is turned up as well, and I don't want to hear myself. I can't stand my voice. And there might be some people out there that are the same, that can't stand my voice. And I can't blame you. Alright, so while we're pulling out, let's see, we're going to B87. And then if we look at the map, we gotta go to the steel mill. Which, go down here and find the SM. And then we want B. And what did it say? B8S. Oops, I'm pushing the wrong buttons here. The game, the buttons are set up so that they coincide with your hotbar down here. And I don't normally have this particular controller in my standard game because it's something you have to buy. But since I'm just playing in what's called a comfort mode, all that stuff is already provided. So I have a key that's not normally accessible in my regular standard play. And then they have a, not standard, but can't remember what it's called exactly. Something, it's basically as realistic as you can get. And I haven't ever tried that mode yet. I'm not real fond of it from what I've seen, because I do watch other people play the game on YouTube, and what I've seen so far, I don't really know if I care for that mode, because on this map right here, on this map right here, if you look at the, I don't know if I can point it out to you, look right over here in this area, you can see this blue dot. And that's our location, because we're at the steel mill, and I better make sure we're not going to go the wrong way here, because I think we're going to what it said, 8S, which S is basically stands for shunt, which we're not going to be able to accept the job until I get the license. So I forgot about that. It's something I got to go back and do. But I think we're B8S, yes, and we need to slow it down. We're going to come in a little bit too hard and fast. As I said, I do have some mods. I've got lots of skin mods, but I'm not using them right now because I don't want to get a copyright violation for using like CSX and others, you know, Burlington Northern and all those. There's mods in here to give you those particular train colors, and I don't know if they're licensed or not, so I'm not using them at this point because I don't hold a license, so I can't do like what I do in my farming simulator and use like a Case IH tractor without violating copyright. I'm not monetized right now, but at some point one of these years, if that ever was a possibility, I wouldn't mind going that way. But so far, certain parameters have not been even near met, so I don't have to worry about being, you know, losing my monetization because I don't have it yet. But okay, what I'm doing right now, if you'll notice, right here in this little area, it says SMSL95, and then I don't know if you look right here, that number right there is the job number, and that matches the car number. I don't see the car number itself, which is right here, but whenever I'm in this mode here and have not actually accepted the job, because I'll have to insert into order validator, but since this is a shunting job, I've got to get that license and I don't have it yet. So we'll have to do that before we can actually accept this job. But anyhow, since I don't have this number available right here underneath these cars, I go by this number, which shows me that this car is part of that order. So anyhow, let's see if I can't undo what I've done. And from what I see, there's 5 cars on this, and that is the 5 cars that we just now backed up to and hooked up to. These cars back here, well, that's an SMSL 20, which is not SMSL 95. So those are not part of this job. They belong to another. And we're not able to take more than one job at a time right now. And for the purposes of this video, that doesn't really matter anyhow, because I am not going to do probably more than just this one job. We can't get on the loading track yet. I don't I have the basically the preview of the jobs mod. There's a possibility to turn off the requirement that you can't be on the loading track. Well, I don't have that turned off, so until I do that, which I don't plan on, because I like a little bit of a challenge. I mean, even though the timing, you know, it's going to give us 36 minutes, as it says right here, which that number will change because I have another mod that actually shows me the time that the job is due. And for that, we would have to check our stopwatch. Normally I leave the stopwatch on a sticky pad up here in the engine somewhere so I can look at the stopwatch. But again, this is a brand new game save. I don't have anything set up like I did in the previous game, so it's going to take some getting used to the setup to remember what I do and don't have access to that I would on my other game. Alright, so we need to slow down. Now see, this is where you can take this controller here and we'll hit Paraloco, or maybe we won't. Power, oh there we go. Didn't have power on. Okay, so now I've got it set and I can run back here. And we'll stand by this switch. And unfortunately, everything you do, you have to do empty-handed. So if I have like this remote in my hand, I got to take it out of my hand to switch anything. But now that we did that, we'll change direction on the loco, and then it's starting to roll forward. I don't want it to roll forward. Okay, it's not responding to my train throttle. Don't know why. So we'll have to do it this way. Like I said, that's the mouse. And oh, we can't go into the loading track yet, so I better stop here short of the... Alright, switch that into there, and then we'll put the... Oops, where is it at? Yeah, I don't know if I would have gotten away with that on any other gameplay. Being on the comfort zone, comfort play, we can get away with being rough on our train. Any other play would have probably blown the traction motors. And I don't know if I'm going to stop in time. I don't think if you pass the points, it'll let you do it. Well, we'll give that a try. We're not past this yard marker, but I don't think those matter. I think it's the points. So let's go over here and I will buy the shunting license, I think. Of course, now I'm going to have to, since I messed up, now we've got these copays. So let's see if I have the money to... No, I won't. Yeah. I hope I do. Alright, so now let's go down to licenses. Shunting, oh good, shunting is only 1,000. So let's put our money in the wall, or put our wallet in the machine again, and looky there, a brand new license with no insurance copay or deadline, bonus deadline reductions. We'll put this over here with all the other licenses. Now, like I said, I did not do the tutorial at the beginning. So the freight haul thing here, you earn that in the tutorial if you play the game yourself. If you do the tutorial part anyhow. And then of course there's the train driver. You earn that in the tutorial. And we're licensed to drive the DE2, which you get in the tutorial. And then of course this we just now bought. I like to kind of keep them organized over here. Later in the game I'll probably buy a briefcase and a folder. And that folder will allow you to organize stuff, and then you can put it in your briefcase. Now we just bought this, so now our time starts, and as you can see right here, it uses military time, which is just fine for me. 23:35. So according to our time, 23:35 would be 11:35, and it is currently just before 5. So we've got about 6-7 hours, but we can't waste any time because that time will go by quick. It's in like 10 times speed or something like that. I mean, it's an outrageously fast speed. And there is no way to slow your time down on this game that I know of. There is a mod that allows you to stop time. Then it would just be noon all day long, but I don't want to do that. There's no challenge to that. So I don't know why I've got my lights like that. Of course, the lights right now don't matter. It's daylight. Alright, and right now I'm using the mouse. Whoop, And how'd that get turned off? Oh, I had to service the train, so everything shut off. And I just started it in gear. But as you can see, we're in comfort mode, so it's very forgiving and it's not going to blow up on me. Because there was a lot of things I did in comfort mode that once I went to standard mode, I blew my traction motors. I mean, I was stalling the engine and killing it, and you don't realize just what how easy it is for you while you're in comfort mode until you leave comfort mode. And then it's just kills it every time you do anything because you got used to bad habits. We don't have to be in that far, so we'll shut her down now. I mean, we're pretty much in here at this point, but you don't have to be all the way up against the backstopper here. But now that we're on the loading track, we come over here and we look, and it says train in range, load. So we'll push load, and all them empty cars that we had, now they are full of rails. And I'll just jump up here. This is the rails like what you see down here on the ground, and since we're at the steel mill, this is where they make them. Oop. Kind of a little bit of a fail there. I tried to jump and ended up falling between the cars. Alright, so let's look at our job order, and it said, of course, load on the pick up at the B8S track, load on the A7L, and because of the mod that I have, you leave your loaded cars on the loading track, and after you're done, now because we have to get the job validated while we're still on the loading track, I leave it hooked up to the engine and just turn the brake wheel, and then I'll run back in and I'll validate the order, and then it'll pay me. And there's where the challenge is gone, because that time that I had has been basically defeated by the fact that I have that persistent jobs mod, and I don't have to. Not persistent jobs, where I can preview the orders. But you can see here it shows 4 minutes already passed of 36. And we picked the cars up at the track they were on, B8S. Loaded them at the A7L. Then we took them off basically by turning the wheel. You have to lock at least one wheel down in order to complete the job. And then we validated the order, and boom, we got paid, plus we got a time bonus for it. And since these won't save, you can't keep these in your storage room over here, because no matter where you go on the map, everything you store in here is in these sheds. And these, whoops, wrong one. These sheds are at every single one of these locations that has the yellow dot says train station. Your shed is at every one of those, plus it's at your little house right here. And no, I don't want to fast travel right now. But your house even has one of those sheds. Alright, oops. Or I pushed it, and then I pushed it again. I don't like the fact that I have to hit the Alt key to go into what's called mouse mode. Which, as you can see, I'm moving the mouse and the screen's not moving, where if I turn that off, then boom, the screen starts moving. But that's the only way you can operate commands and stuff on pages and maps without the screen moving. Alright, so we gotta go turn that brake wheel back. Now, from what I've seen, my experience has been, you'll see on these track sightings, they've got an S and an O and an I. There's one I right there. That's for inbound, outbound, and then shunting. So anything that you shunted comes off, well, goes to one of these tracks from my experience. Now, like I said, I am not an expert on this game, so that may not be the case in every order, but every order I looked at in the past, they all showed they were picked up and dropped off on an S track. Unless it was an inbound load that was ready to come in and be unloaded, and then it would be on the I track, and then it would be taken to an S track. But the O tracks would normally be for when an order is ready to go out. So I'm not sure why you take these to an S track instead of an O track. But basically, as long as you don't take it to an I track, my understanding have so far been that as long as it's not sitting on an I track, when you come in with a load, you should be able to drive straight in with your load that you're bringing in and not worry about running into cars ahead of you as long as your I track is not full. So we're going to take these over and either put them on an O or an S. And I didn't really pay attention earlier, see which tracks were full and which ones weren't. So I'm just going to take this over and we'll just figure it out as we do it. And since this is rails, we're not going to park it over here anywhere, because there's some open top cars that you bring in your material from the ore mine, iron ore and so forth mines. You bring in materials to turn into this steel or iron, or I guess whatever, steel mill. But we got rails on, so we'll park it over here in this yard. Now, something I gotta remember is I have my remote, so I can do this again. I probably better start putting the brakes on if I can find my mouse. A little too hard. I mean, it gives you lights there to kind of tell you your intensity, but without having that actual inertia from being on the train in real life, you really can't tell, you know, how hard and solid your braking is. Alright, so let's do this and this, and then we'll release this brake. Put this in reverse. Oh, we should have done that before. See, now if I was on standard play, that probably would have blown the traction motors. Yep, it's getting hot already. And let's see, we need to look and see what tracks. And I don't want to put it back on an S track because we got lots of other shunting jobs that at some point needs to be done, so I don't know to cover those up. Let's try 4. It looks like there might be cars on that, but that's okay. Yeah, there's cars on 4. That's alright. We can deal with that later. Now, of course, once we get the dispatcher license, I can change all these points using this map right here, but as you can see right now, I don't get an indication whenever I hover over it. So we have to do it the radio way. And that means I have to switch back from one one piece of equipment to another. So we gotta really be on the move here. Alright. So on this, again, we're not really under any time restraints or anything. But or parking restraints. We're not required to park in a certain spot. But since they have these signs here, I generally try to keep the head-in car behind the sign so that we don't have a clipping incident whenever I'm driving by the tracks. Ah! Okay, that looks like we're gonna work. That's gonna work right there. So we'll hop on here and close off our valves so the air doesn't blow out when we release the hoses. And there we go. That's a train ready to depart. And we shouldn't have any issues with clipping whenever we go by. Now we'll probably, like I said, we'll have to deal with these cars being right here next time if we end up using these cars back here. And them being loaded, that would be a shunting job. So I guess right there tells me that the loaded cars are on the oh no, wait a minute, this is outbound. So what was that, SH21? Let's go see. I think that's going to be a freight haul. Yeah, it is right there. FH right there, freight haul. So I guess what I saw just happened to be coincidental that the loaded cars were on the either out or well, I guess that would have been an outbound line right there. But anyhow, I'm still learning. And depending on whether or not I continue on this series, we'll all learn together, whoever sticks around. But there looks like the next job for us because we've got the licenses for that. There's a lot of where'd it go? There it is. There's a lot of jobs we can't take because as I was talking about licenses, we only have these first 4 licenses. We don't have Fragile, we don't have Dispatcher, Train Link 1 or 2, concurrent orders. That's what allows us to do more than one at a time. And then this one allows us to do any at a time. And then of course all the other engines, the SO60 and the DH4, the DM3, and then consist multiple unit where you'll hook your 2 engines together and utilize them as a single power unit using 2 of them or more. And then of course there's a museum, logistical haul, which is basically your empty cars. That just calls it logistical haul. Basically you're moving cars from one place to another to be allowed to be utilized. So they call it logistics. And then of course there's manual service, which I'm still not real happy with the manual service, because you can put fuel in your engine if you have this, you can put it in by hand. Otherwise you put it in by paying these fees here. But what I have an issue with is if you run your engine, even after you're done filling, if you just leave it running while it's sitting on the loading or the fueling track, you gotta pay a fee again before you can do anything else. And I don't really care for that aspect. But see what we did since the last time we fueled up and all that. We've already got a $2 fee, so we'll get that taken care of, and then we can go in here. It says insurance cleared all the fees. You may now buy new licenses. So basically, don't move your engine if you plan on buying a license and you only have enough money for the license. Because if you don't buy it before you get a fee incurred, you won't be able to buy the license. But anyhow, that is going to do it for today. I hope this didn't go for too long. I might edit out some of it and kind of make it a little bit shorter. But compared to what I've seen on other videos, this really isn't that long of a video for this particular game. So I just hope it's interesting, because again, I'm not very experienced. I'm not real great at this game yet. I love trains, and that's what got my attention on this. Was I saw somebody else do a video on it, and I thought, well, I want to give a hand try on it. So anyhow, there you go. I appreciate you sticking with me for this long if you did. And until we see you again, have a great day and stay safe out there.